Natural high.
Garfield, you can't be saying that.
He said he ain't no yeah. You know what? It's funny you said that. I don't know. It's not a drug.
I don't do drugs.
It's an enhancement. It's not a drug. It's an enhancement.
I've been laughing and
it's an enhancement.
All the stuff be popping up with Cam Newton and Shannon Sharp and all the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It be popping up on my stuff. I'm gonna document what's gonna happen tonight.
All right. I'm just saying. I see. I was like, oh shit. Oh my God. Bro. Baby Lack Show.
Be careful.
Whoa.
100 red balls versus one DJ. It's going down tonight. But I don't need no enhancer.
I don't know your business, sir, but I'm just saying I have.
Hey, Baby Lack, your body, your choice.
Yeah.
Your body, your choice.
Spoken like a real politician.
You know? And you have the option whether or not you want to take it or not. And that's what I'm fighting for, to make sure women have the option to do what they want with their bodies.
Okay. Understandable.
That ain't fair for the government. Somebody that don't live in the household or anywhere around this woman or know what she might have to go through. Some babies cause health problems for women. You know what I'm saying? Certain situations.
They can't carry them.
Absolutely.
Oh. So you
imagine the government telling a man who needs enhancements that he can no longer have enhancements. You know, you don't want the government stepping into the most personal parts of your life and those most personal decisions.
Right.
And while we're sitting here having a good time about that, it can very well be a possibility because of the trend and the track that we see the government on.
Correct.
Oh,
so I just wanted to point that out. Like, you know, things that
I'm glad you
but that just let you know everyday business. My dog trying to look out for me, and then you know what I'm saying. But it's also concerns with my dog looking out for me. He might not be able to look out for me all the time.
For medical purposes, for enhancements, like he just said. And now the government is trying to stop that, and now they're letting you know that they're telling you what you can do and what you can't do, basically.
Things that we take for granted. What we do with our bodies, what we teach our children, factual, accurate history, things that we have taken for granted in our lifetime, we see them slowly being
diminished.
Correct.
I'm going to say diminished.
Watered down.
Diminished.
Eradicated.
Get them out of here.
Yeah.
86 it. That's what it's called, I think. 86 it.
I used to be a server. Well, and when you're out of macaroni and cheese, they're 86 it.
86 it.
Don't let anybody order that anymore.
Yeah.
And we are 86 and we are slashing, we are cutting fundamental things that we have taken for granted, certain rights, not just with what we, in healthcare, not just with education, man, like just across the board.
But speaking of the healthcare, go ahead, G.
I got a. How do you feel about the African president? I think it is over there, the one fighting for their rights and all that. Like, how do you feel about that situation going on, even over there? If you could speak on it or anything.
I would just say, like, people get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
You can only suppress somebody for so long.
Correct. And that's what I see from them. Like, they're over the bullshit. We remember, they're over the bullshit.
Either individual or nation.
They over the bullshit.
People will rebel. And especially when you see people who you aspire to live like that have freedoms and rights.
Because I see
can't I?
Yeah, he just gave them, there's no fee for universities. If you go into college over there, there's no fee. You go to college for free.
Tuition
you learn
free.
for free. Tuition free.
Correct.
$0. Ain't no pop-up interest in 10 years. None of that.
Well, that's important because a lot of people, especially in the United States, go to college and rack up all of this debt.
60,000, 40,000, 80,000.
It's crazy.
I know a couple of them, even in my inner family, just racked up and stuff.
I had hella debt. But fortunately, during the Biden administration, my debt was one of those that, my account was wiped out.
All the way.
Got excluded.
God is, hey, man.
And a couple weeks ago, they reinstated it again.
Correct.
How could they do that?
They need it. People need that relief. That's relief that we're talking about.
But I mean, how could the government just step in and just
stop and halt?
Like, okay, everything is good, and the ones that got paid off, but now all of a sudden on this certain date we coming back through.
This program doesn't exist anymore,
right?
And that's because elections matter. And there's a certain group of people
they voted on that
they necessarily did not vote for that, but the people that they voted for or did not vote for, the people who were fighting or had platforms to continue those types of programs did not get the support that we needed. And now, therefore, it trickles down, and now people in our communities, in our families, don't have the support that they need. That little hand up so they can save money and eventually buy a house, and get that debt just, off their credit. So their credit score can go up.
That at least. To better their life.
To better themselves.
Better their life.
Those opportunities.
And they don't want that.
They snatch the rug from up under people.
I like that DeSantis, as we're speaking, he's trying to push the issue of not paying taxes for homeowners. I understand that, and I like that, and I don't see it should be no backlash on the ownership of your house.
Right.
And the government shouldn't be able to take your house because you owe taxes. I shouldn't owe taxes on something that I bought.
It's complicated. And I'm going to tell you why we pay property taxes, right? The state gets a portion, but they don't get 100% of it. So how do we fund our local governments? Because Tallahassee is not going to necessarily give us money for roads and for local things that we need. We have to valet trash wherever we live here in Orange County. They're not going to give us money to build our schools. So that's why we have local local taxes in general, because we have to fund our local government. So there can be a compromise where there should be some type of limit.
I think
25
if
years.
anything should be taxed, it would be a business building that's 2 feet tall or higher, not somebody's residential area. And you can't put your residential area as your office home or anything like that, because it will be taxed as an office home. I think that should be.
I get that. Business taxes is what you're saying, not necessarily individual.
But the property taxes help keep up the streets. And I mean, it's like a win-lose. That's what you're basically saying. Because we gotta pay, you know what I'm saying? The trash man gotta get paid.
This is the question I would have for Governor DeSantis. Who proposed that, right? Because it sounds good just on the surface until you start thinking about all the details and the effects and impacts that it will have on just your local neighborhoods and your local communities.
Right.
My one question to him would be, if you were to do that successfully, where people wouldn't have to pay property taxes across the state of Florida, are you committed to funding the revenue loss that local municipalities will face? Are you going to cover the void? Are you going to fill the void? The money that local government no longer accepts from people paying property taxes is the state of Florida. Do you have the budgetary, do you have the revenue, do you have the funding to fill those voids and fill those gaps?
And that's when I say the governor or the mayor of the state should be able to go to the White House and talk to Congress, and they get funded for that, because they go send $55 billion to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Where they get that money from? Well, that's from the so-called Federal Reserves and all that good stuff.
Speaking of the federal government, did you all hear about 2 weeks ago, about 2 Fridays ago, President Trump and his administration, they announced they're trying to cut HUD, they're trying to cut Section 8, and they're trying to put a 2-year cap on people who would receive Section 8. If you're on Section 8, I don't think 2 years is going to really, give you enough time to sufficiently be able to sustain and be self-sufficient.
Get straight, you know what I'm saying?
2 years isn't enough time. And so what happens after that 2 years? So if that happens, just watch for increase, unfortunately, homeless or unhoused population. Because if they're going to cap people at 2 years, where do they go once when they hit the 2 year mark and they're still not ready to pay the market area rent? especially here in Orange County, where a 1-bedroom easily can cost you $2,000.
That's crazy. I got one last question for you. What's your most important thing on your campaign? The special election is coming up. Please, everybody, if you can get a mail-in ballot, that's the easiest way. If you could wake up in the morning on the day that we vote and you go there and do your thing, that's fine. But if you know you work or whatever you need to do, you know what I'm saying? Please, we will put what that is there, the QR code. We put that up there on the website just so you can. On the website, take it on your phone, but just please, if you can't make it to the poll, at least get a mail-in ballot. But what is your most important message and issue that you want to give to the people right now?
My most important issue right now is property insurance, especially in the areas that I am looking to represent. When you talk about College Park, when you talk about even Homes and Mercy Drive, you talk about the Lockhart area, you talk about Pine Hills. My 89-year-old grandmother, my mother, they have homes, they're homeowners in Pine Hills and the city of Ocoee. Property insurance is crushing people. We have too many insurance companies that have and are leaving the state of Florida.
The roof issue.
Can't get insured.
The roof issue and the flood issue. I heard
the frivolous lawsuits. That's why insurance companies are leaving here. So we have to make it more attractive.
Right.
And we have to find some ways to incentivize insurance companies to come back to insure people who want to be homeowners in the state of Florida. That's an issue when you talk about the lack of insurance companies, because there's a state-run insurance company called Citizens Property Insurance. And when Citizens Property Insurance was established, it was not built with the intent of insuring as many people that's on it right now. So it's soon gonna burst. And that's going to leave even more people without being insured. We know we're about to enter the height of hurricane season, and if people are homeowners and don't have insurance, in the event that they lose everything, that's catastrophic for a family, or even an individual homeowner, or a young family, or a senior family, anybody who is just trying to, live the American dream and want their piece of peace, of prosperity. That's detrimental.
Yeah,
so
it's in the line of fire.
Even if you have if you are insured, the rising in costs year after year is killing people. And because you're not taking home more, they're not increasing your salary by as much as they're increasing your property insurance and the way that groceries and gasoline and goods and services.
Even the tariffs, like the hold on the tariffs, like that. How you feel about not even the middle class, the lower class people that are in Pine Hills, Carver Shores,
running their own business, and got to pay the tariffs.
They have to pay the tariffs, and then they get a hold 30 days. Then it's back up again. Then it's a hold for 9. How do you represent and get those people to vote for you that are looking for you to help them in that perspective?
I have to go and talk to business people.
Right.
I can't just knock on residential doors. And that's something that I'm doing different now. Any businesses that are in this district, I'm leaving my literature on the business. I'm going in to introduce myself to the business owner. I'm asking, I'm making calls to businesses, to small businesses, because I want to sit down and hear your priorities. Another thing that I'm doing too is because, I've served. Y'all know I've served in the legislature before.
Correct.
But even when I went then, I'm a Democrat, obviously. Democrats were in the minority. Right now, we have even less numbers than when I went in the first time. So I would be a fool and I would be lying to people who I'm asking to vote for me if I sit up here and act like I'm just going to do everything exclusive as a Democrat. My goal, to answer your question, my top thing is to bring resources home to this district, to this area. What are resources? That's money to fund senior programs, money to expand technology, money to help with crime prevention programs and with community school-based options and not locking children up. These are the kind of things that we need resources here so we can help people like Marcus Brown Dorsey with his youth program, right? Okay. That we can help Marquise McKenzie, that we can help Dale Coates. We can help these
nephew
people.
there.
We can help these people continue doing the work that they do. We can help programs like that. So we need the resources to come home.
I ain't gonna keep you, but
I'm gonna keep him for one more question.
Yeah, I got one. You got one more too?
Go ahead. What's your one more?
My one more is that we want you back the week before the election. You know what I'm saying? If you come back and give me 10, 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying?
I'm here.
We need that so you can tell the people one more time. But also let them know where they could get their ballot right now so they can't make it to the poll, they go get their ballot at the house and mail it back in.
My question, before you answer that, of Lack, is how can we get some more boys and girls clubs and YMCAs in the urban communities? I see a lot of businesses that are well equipped to turn into a facility of a boys and girls club, YMCA, for the urban area to keep them out of doing this, doing that, crazy stuff, teaching them how to swim in the swimming pool and all that. How can you reach out to you feel like those are questions I know some people ask me to ask, so I'm asking.
That's a good question because I don't want people to think it's just a simple process.
Correct.
It's a layer process because if you know of a building that you think would be ideal, you first have to get the community buy-in, right? The surrounding community, the folks who will be impacted by the traffic, you know, and just a new establishment coming to that area.
It's a lot to go into
you got to do community outreach to get their buy-in. How much does the building cost? Who's going to upkeep it? Who's going to maintain it? Who's going to own it? So that's whoever's district that it falls in on the local level, whoever the commissioner is for that district, you got to have their support. So whoever on the state level district that it falls in, that's your state representative, you want to get their support because you need funding. You need what they call matching funds. The local municipality will put some money into it. The state will put some money into
sponsors is basically.
And so it's securing the funding. It's also it could be zoning issues at the local level. Like this is zoned for commercial. It's not zoned for a place for youth or minors to be.
Right.
It could be zoning issues. It's securing funding. And it's who's going to own and operate. So it can be public and private partnerships.
Now, just to get into that, a couple of places I was speaking about were schools before, so it shouldn't be an issue.
It shouldn't be because they should have the zoning, you know.
You got to say something for next time, G-Field.
All right, okay.
You got, yes, sir, Travaris McCurdy. Yes, sir, my dog in the building. We bringing him back. I know you got a good friend. That's your dog, man. Yes, sir. Got my next guest coming up next. You know me. I got my next guest coming up right out. I'm going to play 2 songs, and I'm going to bring him up.
All right, let me see.
If you ain't down with DJ Baby Lack, you ain't down with Garfield, this ain't got nothing to do with him right now. If you ain't down with us, I got one thing to tell you. Yes, sir.
It kind of gives you a natural high.